My friend Rabbi Michael Barclay is here. And guys, he's got big news coming. I can't share with you yet, but he's got some really big stuff happening. You should follow him, The Rabbi's Table on X, and check out his website, rabbimichaelbarclay.com. That's where you can get his incredible newsletter, which he works on tirelessly. I mean, literally, he was up all night giving you all of the latest. This happened ever since October 7th. This has been what the rabbi has been doing. Rabbi Barclay, thanks so much for being with us, and welcome back to The Morning Answer.
Thank you for having me, and you look fabulous, Jen, and
Thank
just
you.
thank you for having me here.
I'm excited because you know that I am going to see you. You and I are co-speakers. I don't even know if you know this, at an
I
event
don't
in
know this.
Canoga Park, the Republican Women's Federated event coming up in February, I believe. Does that sound about
Oh,
right
how
to you?
cool! I didn't know you were going to be there. That's fabulous.
So you and I are co-speakers. We will have some fun. I think Double Trouble is what we should name it, and we'll go on the road together.
There you go. Works for me.
All right, so give us
Um,
an update. You and I were going to first talk about Scott Wiener, but of course news happens, and so let's jump into the latest. Things are heating up in Iran. What have you been watching overnight?
so a number of things have happened in the last 24 hours. The first thing to understand is take the protesters out of the equation.
Hmm.
Okay, just take it out of the equation. Because while that is important in our decision making in the United States, and as compassionate human beings, this is all about Iran having weapons, having ballistic missiles, potentially having nuclear weapons. And so let's focus on that idea. That's why we're out there. That's why the aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, and the fleet are out there. Everyone has been in place for a couple of days. And people have been talking, oh, we're close to war, we're close to war, we're close to war. And we have been. In the last 8 hours, there are now reconnaissance planes from both America and Iran that went up in the air. One of the big signals that military conflict is forthcoming is Israel has something called the Wings over Zion. It's their equivalent of Air Force One. And when they go to war, it goes up in the air and it goes to Cyprus or Greece or stays in the air. It went up in the air a couple of hours ago. Trump has said, we want to negotiate, but you got to come to the table. Iran has said, we want to negotiate, but we're not coming to the table. It hasn't happened yet, I think, for a couple of reasons. One is that there's been a conference on anti-Semitism in Israel for the last week with foreign dignitaries and people from Jewish luminaries from all over the world have been in Israel. So they've even talked about this at the conference. It's been in Jerusalem. We do not want to go to war while they are in Israel. That would be problematic internationally.
Hmm.
That conference is over as of today. They will all be out of there by Friday. So at the conference, they were talking about they expected attacks over the weekend. The other thing to understand is we all talk about how much we want the Ayatollahs and the regime out, but that would create a power vacuum. So it's not an issue that Iran can be taken out. It can be. Between America and Israel, it really can be. But it will involve death, number one. And there's really, on a political level, I think this is part of the reason Trump has been pushing to try and negotiate something. There's no one to replace the Ayatollah.
Hmm.
And we all know what happens when there's a power vacuum.
Yeah. What happens next? Who would you think could be likely in charge? Or do you have an idea?
Well, the problem is that there's no leader of the protesters
Hmm.
because they kill any leader, number one. The protesters don't have weapons. They don't have a Second Amendment right. Every anti-firearm person should watch what's going on in Iran and realize how badly and how important the Second Amendment is.
Hmm.
But the other piece is there really is no leader. The closest is the old Shah's son, Pahlavi, but he's lived in the United States for 47 years. It's not like he has this great relationship with the Iranian people, although many of them know him. They think fondly of when the Shah was there. People need to remember Americans don't recognize that it's not like the Shah's family have been the kings of Iran for centuries. The Shah's family was placed there, I think, in 1921. I could be a little bit off by the Brits. So it's not that he has this, centuries-long entitlement or inheritance. So he's the closest we have, and it's really kind of dangerous. And that's one of the problems is I think that President Trump is clear. You don't want to just create a vacuum.
What about Marco Rubio? I'm just kidding.
Look, I would vote for Marco Rubio for anything, pretty
I
much.
know.
I think the man is amazing.
They seem to just keep tacking on the titles. I mean, maybe so.
He's I was blessed to be at a brunch with him in 16 when he was running for president. That man is really a genius. He is brilliant. He really, I mean, he's just at another level. And just on a whole other side, do you know the story about Larry Ellison with him?
I don't.
Have you heard? So supposedly, when he's running for senator, Clinton calls up Larry Ellison and says, from Oracle, and says, Larry, we've got this young man. He's running for senator, and if we don't kill this baby in the crib, he's going to become president. And Ellison got off the phone and got involved with Rubio's life.
Oh,
So,
that's so
I
funny,
mean,
and jumped right in.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, if the
so,
Clintons noticed that, unbelievable. Now,
a lot.
President Trump said he does want to talk. Here's the problem with talking, as you mentioned before, and as we know, you can't really talk with Iran and trust what they are going to do. What do you think is the ultimate outcome? If we don't want to see I guess we do want to see a regime change, but we don't know what replaces it, what would be ultimately the best case scenario in your mind, Rabbi?
We need to be able to be sure, not hypothetically or trust them. We need to take out all of their ballistic missiles, any hypersonic missiles that they've been provided by Russia or China. We need to get rid of all the chemical weapons. There have been reports of chemical weapons that they've used against protesters. We need to totally destroy all of their nuclear capabilities and development programs. They're not going to do it, and odds are. And so I think that we're sort of clear that we're going to have to go to war, and it's going to be ugly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them really surrendering that, but I think that's why this has been stalled out so long. We don't want to have them gone and have a power vacuum. It's been rumored for weeks that the last 2 weeks that the Ayatollah is in a bunker, is hidden, and that he's made arrangements to go to Russia.
Yeah.
If he needs to. But I don't buy that that's so easy or going to happen. The other piece of news that again, it's not reported here in the U.S., you read it because you read the emails every morning,
Mm-hmm.
but is that Saudi Arabia, in the last 48 hours, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey, these countries have said, Iraq, you cannot use our airspace to attack Iran. You cannot. We will not help in any way. And that kind of tells about, and Qatar, that kind of tells about where countries' real loyalties are.
That's
These
right.
are all Islamic. They're all Islamic regimes, and they can say they want whatever, but he's still an Ayatollah. He's still a Muslim cleric, and it is still an Islamic regime and the heart of the Islamic regime world. So part of this also has to do with understanding Islamic theology, and that's one of the challenges as well.
Yeah, you can see where they're going to help, and certainly it's probably not going to be in this case for the United States and Israel. Always great information. Rabbi Michael Barclay, get his newsletter and just go to his website. You're going to get a whole lot of information there. You can follow him on social media, on X, The Rabbi's Table. RabbiMichaelBarclay.com is the website. And Rabbi, thanks so much. I can't wait to see you soon.
I'm so excited. I had no one told me. I'm so excited about this.
Isn't that
Thank
fun?
you, Jennifer, for everything you do. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited. So
Believe
I'll
me,
see
when
you
I
soon.
saw the
Thank you.
flyer, I was like, hey, look at that. I like it. All right. So we will have some fun in
I didn't know
February.
there was a flyer.
I think there is. I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, it just came to me in a dream and it was a premonition. Either way, I think it's happening. All right. RabbiMichaelBarclay.com. Rabbi, thanks so much for being with us. Have a great rest of the week.